Something so crazy has happened in the country called Kenya. So very mind-blowing, this thing, that I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it. Hey, what? How is it possible that an intruder breaks into the office of the Cabinet Secretary Interior, one of the offices of the Cabinet Secretary Interior, and rummages around the office, motives not clear, for almost 5 hours? In fact, 5 minutes short of 5 hours, because there is CCTV footage available showing a tall man in dark jeans and with a black cap, hiding his face expertly from all cameras, entering the office and casually leaving. Actually, they entered at 10:45 p.m. on Saturday, January 10th, and departed 4 hours, 55 minutes later at 3:40 a.m. and vanished into thin air. Now, on my show today, we shall focus on the fact that this is very, very worrying, very bad news. And even more interesting, we shall dive into the possible motives. Oh, yes, because you don't just break into the office of the most powerful CS and the CS holding the most government secrets by far. You don't do that just for nothing. You don't do that just for fun. No. Usually there is a clear, terrible objective. Now, to be clear, the Cabinet Secretary Interior in the country called Kenya has 2 offices. One office is at Harambee House, where the office of the president is. And then this other one is at Nyayo House. Now, there are no prizes for guessing which of the 2 offices is the most sensitive, carrying the most sensitive government secrets. Of course, it is Nyayo House, by far. And maybe to put this in its proper context, we must mention the most famous political break-in in history, which of course happened in the year 1972, when people attached to the re-election campaign of President Nixon in the United States were caught red-handed, putting bags, listening devices, in the offices of the Democratic National Committee headquarters, the opponents in the upcoming presidential election. Now, the Democratic National Committee headquarters was housed at the Watergate complex, hence the name the scandal got, the Watergate scandal. Okay? Now, that break-in had devastating consequences. People went to prison, quite a number of people were jailed, and it led to the resignation for the first time in the history of the United States of a president. President Nixon resigned. So break-ins are not small things. Now back to Nyayo House, 20th floor. That's where the offices of the current CS Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, are situated. Was anything taken? There are no indications that anything disappeared from the office. Well, we also know that the government is being very guarded in releasing any information on this very bizarre incident that happened on Saturday, January 10th. Okay? However, we know for sure that the office was in a mess. Indeed, that is how staff reporting on Monday morning were able to raise the alarm and say somebody had invaded office ya mkubwa. Okay? Now, when an office is in a mess, what does it tell you? It tells you somebody was looking for something. Okay? Which directly leads us to the next question. What are the kinds of things you'd find in the office of the Cabinet Secretary Interior that somebody would want to look for, somebody would want to steal, somebody would want to have, of course, with very bad motives. Okay? Now, the CS Interior is one of the 9 members, note that number, there are very few, 9 members of the National Security Council, which is always chaired by the president and includes other characters like the spy chief, the police commissioner, and other very senior government officials holding very crazy government secrets. And in a vast number of occasions, it is the Ministry of Interior that has to implement what has been directed by the National Security Council. Actually, virtually in all cases, very few exceptions. Which means all those documents, classified, highly classified documents from the National Security Council meetings, together with action plans, would be in the office of the CS Interior. Okay? Now, of course, this would also include very sensitive directives, executive orders, coming in directly from the President of the Republic of Kenya. All very highly sensitive stuff. Now, that leads us to the next question. What would the motive be to get this information from the office of the CS Interior? What are the possible motives? Number 1, evidence. You know, in many instances, before people take certain actions, they usually demand evidence. Solid evidence to prove that what is suspected is actually true. It is actually factual. Now, there is another super fascinating, interesting angle to this that I believe we should not ignore. Nyayo House, the building. Now, although Nyayo House as a building was approved for building in the year 1973, during the tenure of President Jomo Kenyatta, the actual construction took at least 6 years before it started. And it started in the year 1979 when Kenya had a brand new different president, President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi. And there is something very sad that happened in this building. By the way, initially it was supposed to be called Nairobi House. But then because it was built in 1979, it ended up being named Nyayo House. Nyayo, because Moi said he would follow the nyayos of President Jomo Kenyatta. Okay? Nitafuata nyayo za Kenyatta. To appease Kenyans, give Kenyans confidence that his presidency would bring in continuity. Okay? Now, one of the sad things that happened is that some of the rooms initially designed to store cash and sensitive documents were turned into torture chambers. Okay? This is a well-documented fact. Now, what this means is that there are a lot of documents, a lot of pieces of paper here and there that prove a lot of horrors, past horrors that have taken place in this building. And those documents would be in the office of the CS Interior, of course. And some of these documents would be from the government organ that used to deal with these torture chambers, the intelligence service of the country. Oh yes, some of those documents would be inside the office of the CS. We're trying to look at all the angles so that we look at all the possible reasons somebody would do something as crazy as what was done on the 10th of January, breaking into the office of the CS and spending almost 5 hours there, looking for I don't know what. Okay? Now it is clear that the government is on panic mode over this intrusion. Because, for instance, so far, at least by the time I was making this video, they have not come out to respond to questions from the press over this very strange invasion of the office of Kipchumba Murkomen. It will be more than super fascinating to see how this story develops. And of course, I'll be very alert in ensuring that I keep you up to speed all the way through. Now, as I bring our very latest offer to an end, you have one final window of opportunity to get this amazing ebook on exactly how the late Cyrus Njorongo was assassinated, complete with a video taken on the scene of the crash, moments after it happened. And the new offer is, wait for this one, only Kenya shillings 14.99. You can see details on your screens right now. Please rush. In the next 48 hours or so, this offer will be kaput, gone. So please take full advantage. The sensitive information in this ebook and the video is well worth it and should help anybody understand exactly what went down here. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.